Greenwood, welcome to SportsvibeTV. We are here in the offices of the Rugby World Cup 2015, which are officially open for business, correct?
Am I looking there or am I looking there?
You can look any way you like. You can look disinterested, you can look bored.
No, never.
So the question was, open for business, Will, you're an ambassador for the Rugby World Cup, and it seems a long way away, but it isn't really, is it?
Not at all. You look, consider the amount of tickets to sell, the legacy we've promised to deliver, the enormity of the global audience that will be upon us, the opportunities for the players to play in their own domestic sort of World Cup on their own doorstep, a World Cup draw in terms of pools that's starting to take shape this very year. And you begin to understand that you need to get things right on the field and off the field very, very quickly if you're going to make it a success.
Awful amount of massive sports events going on over the next few years, all of which...
How's the backdrop? Is it a good backdrop? Do I not look like I'm sat in the loo here?
But we are in a loo. This is my office at the 2015 Rugby World Cup. It must all help the Rugby World Cup. My point being the feel-good factor. Hopefully we'll have a good Olympics, we'll have a good Commonwealth Games, all going to lead up to the Rugby World Cup 2013.
Yeah, so look, I know the government are trying to hide away from this decade of sport, but it's a sort of, we lost 2018, didn't we? So it's a sort of half decade.
We got 2017 World Athletics Championships as well.
So it's a 7-year.
Yeah, not bad.
Bracket of sport. There's quality in the eyes of the world upon us. We've got to get England sorted. We've got to be competitive. I think that's the key. You can do everything you want off the field in terms of getting things right, but if the host nation perform badly, then TVs and bums don't appear on seats very, very quickly indeed. As long as there's an excitement and enthusiasm that we can win the bloody thing, then I think that the excitement levels and the opportunities will build from there. And so, even though, as you say, we're a long way away from the World Cup, the excitement level builds about this Six Nations and what this young squad that Stuart Lancaster will undoubtedly announce can possibly do.
And I guess that's the point, Will. It's not just any old Six Nations, if indeed there is such a thing as any old Six Nations. This is the start of the process, isn't it? Which leads and ends up at 2015.
It's amazing. I'd always say to you, tosh, I think, and then you grow older and understand. Because I come from an old school that, there's different things to be weighed up here. The big aspect here, to go back on it, is we have to be successful in 2015. That's in your own World Cup, that's the key. But sometimes you end up losing sight of the honour to represent your country just once, and the opportunity for players who might be the form players but deemed too old or in that middle bracket that won't be available in 2015 don't get picked, and yet they are the form players in a particular position. So there's a real balance to be done. You don't want to throw everyone out with the baby out with the bathwater, because it's all about 2015, because then you risk inexperienced kids going to Murrayfield and getting a cuffing, and that does no one any good whatsoever. So it's a fine balance, and there's no doubt that the 32-man squad will be a much younger squad, but the starting 15 will have common, well-known names to it.
Now, you see an awful lot of rugby in your role at Sky Sports, obviously. And
4 games this morning already. What time is it?
There we go, early. There's a lot of talent, isn't there? I mean, in this the doom and gloom of English rugby, A, England are Six Nations champions, and B, there's an awful lot of young talent, isn't there?
So, but there's two ways to look at that, because I think Scotland have got the best squad they've ever had. I look at the France squad and see what likes of Clermont and Toulouse. You look at Wesley Fofana, who's going to come in the midfield for those guys.
And look at their back row as well.
Throw that in with Dussitoir, Bonaire and cracking, have I forgotten the six?
Picamole.
Well, he doesn't start, does he? Harry Nordicky, we've forgotten him. So genuine quality. Wales think they're on the edge of something special. They clearly require George North to help that happen. What a player he really is. You put in with Jamie Roberts and Jonathan Davis, and you start naming those sides. I think Sexton's probably the best fly half in the world at the moment. People are screaming. My caveat is that Southern Hemisphere aren't playing, but even if they were, it'd be pretty close. And you begin to see that we are excited, but I'm not that
brassed off or not thinking anything other than there'll be a Welshman watching this going, well so are we. So who can galvanise, who can bring that together better in the shorter space of time to steal a march on people. England's focus for me, this Six Nations and this summer tour, has to get to a stage whereby we are competitive in the autumn internationals. At Twickenham, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa and Fiji, but the big three, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, are here. We need to find out about players in this Six Nations. Who do I mean? Sharples, Robson, Farrell. Are they Test players? Give them an opportunity. They don't have to start. Marler doesn't have to start. He might not make the Six Nations. He's got to go to South Africa. I personally think Brown should play 2 games in the Six Nations. Foden is the best fullback, should play 3. I think Hodgson should get a couple of games at fly half. Flood should get a couple of games at fly half. Potentially Farrell gets 1. So I understand the need for continuity, and when I was playing in that England squad, when we did pretty well, continuity was crucial. You look at how South Africa won the World Cup in 07, continuity. But we need to find out about some guys, and not 2014, when they can only then get 7 or 8 caps before the World Cup, 2012, 2013. Start sticking some ticks, some question marks, some crosses by some names.
Okay, well now 2 quick things before I let you go. The first thing is obviously it's very important for England to fare well at the World Cup, but it is a World Cup in England. So tell us briefly the importance of embracing the world of rugby in this country. I know we're going all over the country, which is a great start, isn't it? Newcastle, Leeds, which is brilliant. But it's important we follow New Zealand's lead in terms of getting behind everybody, not just England.
Well, I think Australia's lead about 3, France leading in 2007, taking games to Lyon, to Nantes. So we go to Southampton, we go to Newcastle, we go to Liverpool, Leeds, as you say, places you've named. And we have to get those cities, those towns, adopting some of the junior nations. They're going to have a look. We're going to have a look at the fixture schedule to make sure that some of the Tier 1 teams have to play midweek as well, to try and balance out that issue that Eliota Fuimanis so eloquently highlighted to the world. So it's the adoption, it's the face painting, it's the small detail. Face painting happens when there's loads of numbers and people are excited about it. So absolutely, and with that will come potential to deliver a pretty hefty financial legacy to not just the global game but to the domestic game, which when it's competing against some of the other big sports, and on the back of the Olympics and the pull that the athletics and the rowing and the cycling will have opposed this, that it's important we have our own sort of soapbox to the world and deliver it well.
Well said, sir.